Going on, everybody, man, and welcome to the very first episode of The Truth, where not all Eagle fans agree on everything, and this is definitely the spot where this shit about to go down.
Oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only the best, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going.
This is why we started this, because of you. We started this. I'm tired of listening to your fantasy that you living in right now. Always talking about guaranteeing no until proven otherwise. BS!
I'll be number one, working hella hard until I get just what I want, yeah. Rises like the sun, yeah. Fatal like a gun.
You know what I mean?
Hey, I was pretty close last year. We could have easily won those 3 games.
So I gotta get through it, and the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing.
Right? Did we not beat ourselves those 3 games?
Look, we lost.
Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep
We
moving. Yeah, I
but
put
we
it out
lost.
as hard, it's my only medicine, yeah. Everything I do, I'm just being genuine, yeah. I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline, yeah. I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. Gotta fight, I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know.
Oh yeah, baby. Welcome to episode 30 of The Truth, baby. BG31 and JC Sports Talk in the building. We got very special guests today. Very special guests. You know him. You see the plaque on the side of him. You see him, the GOAT of Eagles content himself, Mr. Philly 500.
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me on. I appreciate to be here, man. It's been a while, and yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
Yes, sir. Hey, look, man. Hey, we appreciate you coming on. I know you're a busy, very busy man, but there are some few things that's going on with our Philadelphia Eagles, our brand new Philadelphia Eagles, according to Jalen Hurts. But we're definitely going to get into all that. What is the first topic on the menu, BG?
Before I even want to get into it, I just want to really give out some praise to you, 500. And I want to know from one podcaster to another, man, how is it being over 100K, my guy? 100K, got the plat there. Tell me, how was it? From day one when you started, what was like your motivation to get you started, and did you ever think you would get to this point?
No, I mean, when I started, I just was looking for an outlet to bitch about the Eagles. I looked at YouTube as like therapy. Like I needed to get out and be able to yell about the Eagles. I never thought it was going to turn into what it has now, at all. So I really didn't have a plan for it, But once you get started, once you get rolling, it was cool to get to 100,000. It's cool. But I can't tell you that I really had a plan about it. Once I knew, hey, you could get 100, you get a plaque. I wanted to get there, of course, but it took a while.
Nice. What kind of advice can you give us, podcasters that we trying to be the GOAT too? You know what I'm saying? There'll be a time where the GOAT steps down. We need a new GOAT. What kind of advice could you give us, to all inspiring podcasters out there?
My advice is just be yourself, be consistent, just keep putting out content. I think that's the most important thing. You have to put out content. You have to be yourself, and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to give your opinion. The one thing is I'm never afraid. I never shy away from saying if I think the Eagles should do this, I say I think they should do that. No matter how ridiculous it may seem to people. You just, say what's on your mind. I think people, though, overall, in the long run, appreciate that more than anything.
I got one of those things down. I need to work on the consistent content out, but I got that confidence in what I say, baby. Jalen Hurts is number one. Number one starting this year is going to be Bradbury. Y'all tripping. No.
Bradbury. Oh,
shit.
I'm going to get into that today.
Wait, look. I mean, look, hey, this is a perfect transition into our DBs, right? I mean, right? Yep. It's a perfect transition. All right, so I saw you shake your head the minute, BIRDGANG. You know, he's a little delusional. Like, he's borderline Cowboy delusional fan. But that's all right. We still love him over here in the Philly Nation over here. So how do you feel about RDBs, and who do you expect to be on this 53-man roster?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think that we're really stocked in the secondary. Like, I think we got a lot of talent, and there's no way that you could keep it all. I just did a video. I haven't edited it yet, but I'm working on editing, where I'm talking about, like, basically the 3 players that I think the Eagles could end up trading during training camp. All 3 of them are defensive backs, because you're so deep at defensive back more than anywhere else. I don't think you can go into the season with all these guys. I think you're going to have to move them. If you want Cooper DeJean on the field, you're going to have to move somebody. If you want Quinyon Mitchell on the field, eventually you got to move somebody. Isaiah Rodgers. I mean, you can't keep all these guys and get those young guys on the field. So I think when it's all said and done, I think you're going to see Bradbury gone. I think you're going to see a guy like Avonte Maddox gone. And I think, you know, we're going to see some of these young guys play.
Hey, 500, check this out now. JC hates when I say this. JC hates this, right? But I want to be, like, realistic for fans too. I know everybody's like, we can't bench, you know, the first round draft pick, but it's not like this guy was a top 10 cornerback. You know what I'm saying? This guy's in the late end of the first round. He's a good guy, but he needs time to grow. When we were watching OTA, you know, and hearing about OTAs, there wasn't that many clips where we heard, you know, Quinyon Mitchell stole the show. It was more Isaiah Rodgers, it was more Rango, you know what I'm saying? It's more those type cats. Now, can you see a scenario where you got an old school coach in Vic Fangio, where he goes ahead and he brings in, you know, he lets, you know, the bigger cornerback and Bradbury stay now that he has good safeties behind him, you know, and he lets them stay not for the whole season, but till that trading deadline, so how we can build up stock for them and then trade them by the deadline.
Yeah, I see a scenario where that's possible. I mean, I don't think it's impossible that happens. But remember, if you keep Bradbury, you're not just affecting Quinyon Mitchell. Who you're affecting is Isaiah Rodgers. Isaiah Rodgers is playing outside corner. He said he's not playing inside this year. He's going to play outside. So if you move Bradbury, Isaiah Rodgers is your other starter. Now, he's only there 1 year. You got to figure out what you're going to do with him. So essentially, you want to put Quinyon Mitchell second on the depth chart, make him second string. You got to move Bradbury. Otherwise, you're going to have a situation where Rodgers is behind Bradbury or Slay and Ringo too. And then Mitchell's like third on the depth chart. Yeah. So, I mean, to me, it's not about not playing so much Mitchell. It is about Rodgers. I think you have to get Rodgers on the field.
Well, Rodgers is going to make the team. I think he's going to be a returner for sure. I think he may, because I know Brady Covey does our punt returns.
I think he's good enough to start and be really good, like a really good corner.
But you're talking about a guy to come from a small school into the NFL. Like, I feel like if we're a normal NFL team, right? If we're like in the middle of the pack NFL team looking for that corner to help us get over the edge type thing, then that would be one thing. But to be a legit Super Bowl contending team needing as much veteran experience as possible, you know, even Isaiah Rodgers missed all last year. Yeah, he looked good in 707s, but it's not very hard to look good in 707s. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't get too hyped out about shorts and T-shirts out there. You know, what's happening when the pass get on? He's a smaller cornerback. He's like 5'10" or something like that. What about, you know, once the pass get on, once we get into it? Now, I'm not doubting these guys can play. I'm just saying, don't you think it'd be a smarter guy? Yes, Bradbury had a down year. Our whole defense had a down year last year. But the year before, he was all-pro. And no one was talking bad about him then. You know what I'm saying? And last year, he'd even made some plays last year too, as well. You know, he had that interception in the Packers game, or what game was it? I think it was Packers. One of those games. I remember he had the game-winning interception to, you know, seal it up there, and he made a couple plays too. Yes, he got torched most of the season, but like Slay even came on his podcast and said it's a lot different when you got young safeties back there. You know what I'm saying? Right. You look for your safety to be experienced, to help put you in the right position since you're on the outside. You got two young guys. They're just trying to do their job. They're trying to do their job as best as they can. They're not really verbalizing things to the outsides and whatnot. So I don't know. I feel like Bradbury played great when he had some good safeties behind him, and he played shitty when he had, you know, some rookie safety spot.
No, I don't disagree. I just don't think it's about just this year. Like I think that you want the young guys. I want the young guys on the field, because when you get to the end of the year, or when you get even into next year, you want these guys to have experience. I think about the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, you look at how that defense was real young the year they won a Super Bowl with us, and then they go into the net last year, and they were all pretty good the whole year because they got snaps and they had played. Are we really going to sit all these young guys and just let them not play? I'd rather say, my point is this: you have an offense that should have no weaknesses, should be able to put 30 points up a game. Why not let the young guys go out there and play and learn and make mistakes early in the season and ride your offense, and then have them, by the time the playoffs hit, start to be, start to get used to playing and get effective. And then when you go into the playoffs this year, and even when you go into next year, you got all young guys ready to go with experience. And then you have that for the next 3-4 years. To me, by playing Bradbury, you're just waiting for that time to begin. So for that reason, I would like to see them go young. And I don't disagree with you that Bradbury can't bounce back. To me, it's not about, like, I'm not hating on Bradbury at all. I just think that you're so deep with young guys. Let them play.
Exactly. And look, I agree. I mean, I know Isaiah Rodgers missed all last season, but hey, you could say, hey, that Bradbury missed all last season because he was MIA. You know what I mean? Hey, you talking about the Packers game? It was, I think, 2 seasons ago. Like, come on now. So what were you talking about here? You don't draft a guy in Mitchell to sit him behind anybody. I mean, and Cooper DeJean, like, you don't draft these guys to have them sit. That's what OTAs are for. That's what training camp is for. The camp battle is going to tell us all what we need. Who knows? Vic Fangio might say, hey, I want some young guys, like, aggressive. I've seen enough of, Bradbury and Maddox, but put these young guys in, with speed on the floor. Like, we don't even know what scheme he's actually going to run. Like, I mean, I'm still waiting to hear, okay, this is the final scheme that Vic Fangio is going to run. Like, to me, he's all over the place. So that's why I'm saying Bradbury is just holding a spot. He's a dead weight right now. So if you could, possibly release him, I mean, we post June 1st anyway. So, I mean, we might be saving a little bit of money, but I don't see the harm. And going into the season, especially with the depth we have at corner, this is the most depth I've ever seen on the Philadelphia Eagles, with talent, with the potential of being number ones on both sides. Even if Slate right now miss a few games, I'm still comfortable with throwing out Rango out there because of the experience he had from last year as a rookie. So that's why we need these guys to play. We can't wait. Like, a lot of these other teams are playing young guys, and you see it paying off in the playoffs, like 500 said. The Dallas Cowboys. Shoot, hey, Trevon Diggs, he started his first year. Wasn't he a second-round pick?
Yeah, second-round pick.
So, I mean, so what are we talking about here? Like, I mean, and BG is so stuck on a small school. Nick Saban wanted Mitchell at Alabama. So if he went to Alabama, would you feel better about yourself, BG?
I want a Kool-Aid.
Oh my God! See, that wasn't that wasn't the question. But anyway,
but I get what you got to say too. I'm just saying, you look at what Howie said. Howie said straight up, it's always best if you can sit your players and have them learn behind key veterans. So by the time they're ready to play, they're ready to roll. You know what I'm saying? Why force a Quinyon Mitchell into the situation where he can go out there and get torched? And now you done messed up this boy's confidence from moving on forward. If you put him out there and he gets torched his first year, he probably won't bounce back from that. Not too many people can bounce back from looking bad out there on that football field. You know what I'm saying? It takes a strong guy to do that. For two, you got a veteran, dude. You got a veteran that's bigger, longer arm. I think Bradbury's way bigger than Quinyon or Rodgers. And you got a guy like that out there with experience that can go out there with good secondary and lock it down, man. Like, it's not even if it's not for the whole year, give these guys, maybe even give these guys, like I said, you don't even know Rodgers once he put the pads on. He ain't been hit in over a year. You know what I'm saying? He ain't had nobody come hit him. He ain't really hit nobody else. And over a year, your body, we always talk about not practicing in training camp, what that does to you once you got into the regular season. Now, try not practicing for a whole year. You know what I'm saying? Like, when he go out there and get hit, it's Saquon Barkley, one of these big running backs, go smack this dude. You don't even know if he get hurt. You don't risk these young guys and a guy like Rodgers getting hurt. I don't know. I just think it'd be smarter play for older
what do you think about what do you think about them? And I don't mean to cut you off, but what do you think about them moving Bradbury to safety? And in the first 10 minutes of OTAs, he's out for the rest of it. He's hurt.
I think that was
to me, that's a bad omen, man.
That wasn't even a real injury, I don't think.
To me, that's like that telling me right there. This is going to be bad luck with this guy.
Remember what we did with Ertz, right? Remember Ertz his last year. Everybody's like, trade Ertz. It's Goddard's time to shine, right? What did the Eagles do? They let him start at the beginning of the year, right? Build up his trade value and then shipped him out. I think even if you want these young guys to start, Howie's not going to miss out on opportunity to make a big splash for our football team. Where why not build up his stock? Why not let him start the first first 2-3 games? And if what happens, best case scenario, he balls out, right? And now his stock skyrockets. You trade him, you actually get some value from him, and you help your team out moving forward.
Like, who trade a all right? The problem is you keep saying trade him. How you just gonna throw a rookie midway through the season if we're having a good defense already? Why would you even get rid of your defense at that point? It makes no sense to trade.
Because I think no matter what we all
I'll let you finish. Hold on. If Bradbury is balling out, why would you trade him and then ruin the continuity of the defense? Why? And now you got to say,
you guys say these other players are so good. They'll be good. They're going to be packages for all of them. We're going to see Quinn. We're going to see Quinn on the field regardless of who's starting. We're going to see Rodgers on the field regardless of who's starting. We're going to see Ringo on the field no matter who's starting. We've seen them all last year play. It's going to happen.
People was getting hurt last year. That's the reason why. Offense is easy to plug and play on offense. On defense, you have to know the scheme. You have to have continuity. You have to be talking to each other. You can't just plug and play on defense unless you got an injury. Then yes, I agree. But you can't plug and play on defense. What kind of school you play football for?
What do you think about that?
Listen, no matter what you do, there's risks in everything. But I think you got to think about it in terms of long term. I want these young guys on the rookie deals playing as soon as possible on the field because it frees up so much more for you to do with the rest of your team. But to me, it's like I think a lot of times the Eagles wait too long to put guys out there that should be out there. I think they do this all the time. It's like they should have traded Ertz a year. They traded him a year too late. They should have traded him a year earlier. Goddard was ready to go. Jordan Mailata could have started 2 years earlier. They wait too long sometimes with these young guys, and you waste their whole rookie deal. Think about Cooper DeJean. He's only a second-round pick. He's only got 4 years under contract. You got to resign him. So, to me, get these guys on the field. Let them play. Let them go through the learning process now. Okay, you have Slay. He's your veteran. He'll tell them what to do. But the best way for them to learn is be on the field and play. And then when you get into the playoffs at the end of the year, these kids are going to start playing better. They're going to stop making mistakes. And then especially when you go into year 2, these guys are going to be ready to go. Think about how much that's going to free every other position to go out and sign guys and have that extra money because you're not paying James Bradbury and at this by next year, Darius Slay a lot of money. Yeah. I say you got to get these young guys on the field and let them play. Let your offense can carry your defense early on in the year.
Yeah, and look, our offense did carry our defense this past season until they just couldn't do it no more. Like our offense was top 3 the first 10 games of the season. And that's when we was 10-0. But then defense was just so bad that offense could not afford to make one mistake. The minute they made a mistake, we couldn't stop nobody. So I do agree. Hey, you got to get these guys on the field. Look, they are not a rookie no more 10, 11, 12 games in. Like, come on now. These guys been playing ball together for 11 weeks. So to me, just get them on the field. The sooner you get them on the field, the better they will be. And you keep saying that Howie Roseman say sit behind. No, that's the old mentality. Because the end of this past season, he was saying he got young guys that he wanted on the field. So I don't know what press conference you was listening to, but the one I was listening to, he want them guys to play. He don't draft guys just to have them sit. He want them on the field.
So you guys saying you want Rodgers to start outside of Slay?
I think Rodgers is going to start outside Slay. I mean, it looks like that's where it's at right now. So I mean, that's what's going to happen. But I think Rodgers is a legitimate starter when he was with the Colts. So I don't know how much Bradbury's better than him. And if you look at everything we've seen from him, he might be the best athlete we've had on the field the OTAs. I mean, I say you get him on the field and play. Yeah, play him. Isaiah Rodgers right away. That's what I would do.
Okay.
Listen, I even consider trading Slay this season. I'm not even lying to you. If the right price comes, I'll trade Slay and Bradbury this year.
Me too.
I'll trade them both.
You see, that's what I'm thinking. Like, you keep both of them, and then they're both gone next year anyway. Now you got guys with experience because they will play. Like I said, I believe no matter what, there will be packages for these guys to play. Regardless of what we think about it, there will be something for them to be out in the field. They wouldn't waste the whole rest of the whole season without playing these guys. But I do think there's a ways you can play them and still get them ready and still keep your veterans in. You know, you never know. Like I feel like we are like one of the best teams in the NFL right now. You need your most experienced. People are going to come with their best game every single week in, week out. With that offense we got, you know, with that, they're going to try to stop that with the best defense. With their defense, they're going to try to give the best plays, to score touchdowns on us. You're going to need experienced guys. This is the window right now that we have to win Super Bowls. We don't need to be like, oh, well, we could have won, but our inexperienced cornerbacks were getting toasted all year because they didn't see things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that could still happen, and that's why you want to go veteran.
I think that happens early in the season. Yeah. I think by the time you get to the playoffs, those things, because those guys played 10, 12 games, 13 games, I don't think they happen in the playoffs. I think that's when you go into the playoffs and you go on a roll, and all of a sudden your defense is playing lights out in the playoffs, and you're going, what's going on? Well, your young guys are kind of integrated now. They kind of get it, and I think you can make a run that kind of way. I don't worry about those guys making those mistakes in January, February.
See, and the last thing I have to say on this topic, like 2 years ago, when our defensive back was getting interceptions and tip passes, it was the rush, it was the pressure that was getting to these quarterbacks that was making our defensive backs, our secondary, look so good. So last season, what happened? The rush wasn't there anymore. And now these quarterbacks have plenty of time to run around and find somebody open. The defensive backs will always be as a disadvantage, especially because the offense know exactly what route they're running and this and that. So it's all going to start. I don't care how good your corners are. If you can't get to the quarterback, anybody could get open. So it's going to start up front.
And that's a whole other conversation to worry about.
And let's jump into it then. What are your expectations for Jalen Carter?
I think Jalen Carter is going to have a monster year. I think between 8 to 10 sacks. Where I worry about, I think Jordan Davis and Carter are going to be great. Where I worry about is the edge rusher. I'm not the biggest fan of trading Hassan Reddick. I can't say that I honestly like that move to this day. I don't know about Bryce Huff. I haven't seen enough of Nolan Smith. I have some real worries about those edge rushers this year. Which if they're not getting home, it's gonna like we talked about the second, it's gonna be a problem. But I think your edge rushers are a giant question mark going into this year.
And you hear them talk about like what we had Slay, we had Long, we had all these guys talk about, how great, Jalen Carter's going to be the next best, next Aaron Donald, the next Reggie White, the next whatever. Good, yeah. Do you think he really can reach up to those levels for one? And for two, do you think, since they're going to be double teaming this guy, who's going to stop, Jordan Davis? Because Jordan Davis double team.
I think they'll double Jordan Davis. I think you're going to have to double him, and I think it'll free up Carter. And I think Carter will have a big year. My fear is where does the rush come from on the outside? I mean, Bryce Huff has done it 1 year. He had 10 sacks 1 year. That's great. Nolan Smith hasn't
Josh Sweat
hasn't
is
shown us
still there.
anything. Huh?
Josh Sweat is, he's still there. He came back for 1 year.
Yeah, he had a bad year last year.
Yeah.
But you get Reddick, who's had 4 years at double-digit sacks, your number one closer, and you get rid of him for why? There was no.
But you know what I say about the Reddick thing, 500.
I hate the Reddick thing.
After the week 11, he didn't do nothing, just like the rest of the defense.
Everybody.
Yeah, but his job, like they say that this guy was out there sack chasing, right? So that means in your mode, you were sack chasing for a whole 7 or 8 games. You couldn't even come down with 1 sack, my guy. 1 sack. You had 11 sacks, and you got a guy that played.
But he still had 11 sacks.
Less than 50% of the snaps, and he had 10.
But they also started when they put Matt Patricia in, they started dropping him
back.
It's like why are these coaches so stupid? Like if you have a guy that is a premier pass rusher, a number one closer gets a goal, why do you want to drop him back in coverage? I think it's the dumbest thing in the world. Like use your guys to your strength. Reddick should be going after the quarterback. That's what he should be doing. That's what he does best. Why you want to drop him back in coverage makes no sense. And then when they drop him back in coverage and he gets no sacks trying to do new things, people go, "Oh, he didn't do anything at the end of the year." Well, look how they were using him.
But he wasn't dropped back that much. We all over-exaggerate how many times he did. I think they did a stat like he dropped back like 7 times the whole year.
I think
that's not enough to really give a pass to Reddick not having sacks.
I think that entire defense was totally confused by Patricia.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, just looking back at it, honestly, honest truth, we all wanted who's our defensive coordinator before? Oh, Desire, right? We all wanted some change. What is going on with the defense? Look, hindsight 2020, Monday morning quarterback, man, we should have just left Desire alone. Because as soon Matt Patricia became the defense coordinator, this defense looked so bad. It's like that they gave up. I mean, vets were like, what is going on? Like, you see how lost they were. Like, Reddick was like this, not covering anybody. Like, I mean, just leave it alone. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. But now I feel different about Huff than you do 500. I think that he is, that he can be the difference maker that we need on this defense up front. Especially, I don't know what kind of scheme that Vic Fangio want to run, but he looked like that he could drop back and actually know what is going on and also rush the quarterback. So you still have Josh Sweat there. BG is still there. Milton Williams is still there. So I'm feeling good about our front. I still think that we need at least a couple more pieces, depth pieces, especially as a defensive tackle.
What do you feel about Nolan Smith?
Look, I'm ready. Look, I've seen some flashes in Nolan Smith, like when he played against the Dolphins. I mean, this dude was getting there. Like, he barely was missing it. So I feel like this year he gained, 10, 15 pounds of muscle. I mean, he's ready to prove himself. So, look, I don't mind with Hassan Reddick. And you see the Jets, look, he's not even reporting to the Jets right now. So that could have been our problem with no backup plan. So now we got a backup plan and Bryce Huff. Look, I'm okay with it. I just worry about Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. If those two monsters up front dominate their matchup, it doesn't matter who we have rushing. Because the pocket is going to be collapsing so bad, so fast that you ain't got no choice but to put your hands up and tip balls happen, just like we did a couple years ago, with the 70-sack season.
I think they both have breakout years. I think those guys are going to have huge years. Jordan Davis, if he's conditioned right and he's well conditioned, he's good. Because if you look early in the year, before he ran out of gas, I mean, he was playing good. Everybody was talking about how
good that Bills game where he ran and came up all
that was one of the most amazing things. Dude, he goes down. Did you see that? He goes down chasing Josh Allen, and he's down on the ground like this for 2 minutes.
But that was the end of his
done.
season,
He was
period.
done. That was it. He was done for the year, man. That was it. It was done. It was the craziest thing. But I've never seen a big guy move like that. I think that those two guys are going to be monsters. I do. I think they're going to be monsters with Milton Williams rotating in. I think that's going to be strong. But we need somebody to pick up the slack for Reddick. And if it's Huff, and I'm not saying I think Huff has tremendous talent. I need to see it more than 1 year.
Yeah.
You know, but if you get that from Huff, then the Reddick trade, it's fine. It's great. But if those guys aren't getting home, you're going to have to go out and get another edge rusher at some point. You know, we'll see. I think Carter and Davis will be fine.
I think with the back end playing good, you might see another one of these 70 sack seasons, man. You know what I'm saying? Where you had what? You had BG with double digit, you had Fletch with double digit, you had Hargrave with double digit, you had Sweat with double digit, and then there was one more player, right? Oh, you had Son Reddick with double digit. So those five guys getting that double digit, I can see at least, like, I think this is a year Sweat, you know, because no one's really talking about Sweat. No one's giving him any love. They're like wanting him out. You know, he thought he was leaving. He came back, you know, on a discounted rate, you know, and I think every single year he's gotten better. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's gotten better.
He dipped out last year.
But what? He still had how many sacks last year? Like
6.
6 or 7 still?
He really dipped. I thought him and Reddick, you know, you could say that they both were sack chasing, really. I thought Josh Sweat did the same thing. So, you know, he has to have a bounce back year. We need him to. But I don't think Sweat was great last year.
But no one, you can't really say you thought anybody
is going to lead this team in sacks. Like, honest truth. I think Josh Sweat came on a prove it year. He took less to stay here, right? He didn't want to leave Philly. And I feel like in this Vic Fangio system that he's going to thrive. And he's going to lead this defense in sacks. Josh Sweat is my breakout player.
I'm going to go Huff. I'm going to say Huff. I'm going to say Huff. I have to see it, but I'm
going to say Jordan Davis.
And sacks.
I think Jordan Davis will finally, even with sacks, because Jordan had 4 sacks last year? 4 sacks last year, right? With Jalen Carter being this dominated, you really think they're gonna leave him single covered all year long without double teaming him? By the third game, if he already has 4 sacks or something, they're gonna double team this guy every single time because they don't. You know, which player do you expect to get to the quarterback? Jordan Davis or Jalen Carter? You're gonna say Jalen Carter. You know what I'm saying? So when you're passing the football, you're not going to expect Jordan Davis, but Jordan Davis is big enough, quick enough, and he looked like he shed some weight. He should be a lot more faster this year. I think Jordan Davis might be the breakout player in that defensive line.
The problem they have with single Jordan Davis is he might not get the sack, but he pushes the pocket back. Yeah, and it makes the quarterback uncomfortable. So you almost have to double. Because you don't double him. He just pushes the offensive lineman back like nothing. I mean, you got to get 2 guys on him. Otherwise, he totally screws that whole pocket up. So they might have to double Jordan Davis a lot more than you think, which is going to free Jalen Carter a lot.
No, last year I think they doubled him every time he played, you know, because he is so big. But I'm saying, though, like with everybody saying that this guy's about to be this generational talent, is that you can't double team both of them. You know? No. You double team, you have to double team.
That's not our problem. Hey, that's not our problem. That's their problem. Look, they double team whoever they want. Look, I still think that we have the guys up front to win one-on-one. So if you choose to double team, that's fine. We still got 3 other guys, maybe 4 other guys, the pin coming in to get the quarterback. So,
but they will be the reason why.
That's why I don't like getting rid of Reddick. Because if you got those guys in the middle beating, all you need is one guy on the edge that is a 14, 15 sack guy, and you're devastating defensive line. You really are. So we need Huff.
We got Huff, and we spun the first round.
They've got to show that they can play. They've got to prove it.
Yeah. And we spun the first round pick on Nolan. We have to see if he can be that guy too.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, like you said, Huff. I feel like with Nolan getting bigger, faster, stronger this year, you know, having that shoulder surgery, you know, hopefully fix everything. Huff, and then a better Sweat this year. I think, and plus we still got BG who's going to come off the bench, and
I'm gonna
he's
tell
going to
you,
get some.
I'm gonna tell you the guy to watch out for. Right? You want a sleeper? This Jalix Hunt. I'm telling you,
Yes.
something about this kid. There's something about this kid. I don't know what it is, but he's got the it factor. It may not be this year, but I think he's going to develop into a player. I really think he's going to develop into a good player.
How good though? Because I feel like you just said, we're not even really talking about this guy. This guy used to be a safety.
I think premier double-digit sack guy. I think he's got the talent to be a 10 to 15 type sack guy off the edge.
Banjo did say he will be dropping edge rushers into coverage. He said it.
He will. He loves that.
Every now and then it's going to happen.
And I'm not a big fan of Fangio's scheme in general. I would never run it, but he does. That's what he does. He drops edge rushers back.
What's another surprise star? Both of you guys. Another surprise star you don't think people are talking about right now?
Well, I think on offense, man, I have to go with Anaya Smith, man. You know what I mean? And for some reason, man, I like the more highlights I watch of this guy, man. Like he was a steal for us. I think that might be the steal of the draft, but we'll see. Yeah. But with his return capabilities, right? Especially with the new kickoff rule now, once you get past what the line of defense, and you're done. The punter, the kicker is not going to stop you, right? So I really think that he should be able to play a big role in the Kellen Moore system, in the slot with all the trickeries, hand around, man, all that good stuff. And don't be surprised if he even get lined up in the backfield, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but I really think that you could use them all over the field. So I think that's on offense.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? I agree with you, because when you look at like the rookies, right? And you look at, and you say, which rookie has the best chance to start and to play the most? It's Anaya Smith, because who's he got to beat out? Paris Campbell? I mean, come on. Yeah. He's got to beat out Paris Campbell. Who else do we have?
John Ross.
John Ross. He's got to beat those guys out. I think he will. I think he's going to end up being your slot wide receiver. And what I like about him, too, is his yards after the catch are great. Like, he gets yards after the catch. He's the perfect slot guy for the Eagles. He really is. So I think I have to agree. I think he's sleeper. I think he's actually got the best opportunity to start right away.
And also, look, hold on, real quick, BG. Look, you can't double team Devontae Smith. You can't double team AJ Brown. Ain't no slot corner is gonna keep up with Anaya Smith. So now it's gonna be mismatched. Offense is gonna be crazy, mismatched all over the field. And with the healthy Dallas Goedert, and then if you have watched the Dallas Cowboys, Kellen Moore, he does use his tight end down the middle of the field a lot. Yeah. So, like, there's going to be a lot of mismatch on the offensive side. So that gives, a lot more opportunity, a lot more room for a breakout star like Anaya Smith to come up and say, hey, they double team this guy, double team, I'm open.
Yeah.
I feel like he has on the right side of the ball. I think it might be even Johnny Wilson. You see him out there with Hurts, all these guys right now. That guy's 6'7", 200 and what? 35. He's like what we wanted. 35. What was that tight end we wanted to be good all these years and never? Jackson. He's like that guy Jackson, but he's actually a receiver. You know what I'm saying? It's out there. He had some great plays. I think he was another one in Florida State, averaging like 18, 19 yards per catch. You know what I'm saying? Can make big plays. Got feet like a little guy, but he is big. He's mossing people. You know what I'm saying? When you that tall, 6'7", and you're athletic, man, that's dangerous. And like you said, I think the Eagles are going to also do one of them things like they did last year. Even though Quez was the third receiver, you still see Alameda Zaccheaus out there. You still see Julio Jones out there. There will be a rotation at that spot where you might see Campbell have a game. You might see Anaya have a game. And I think this could be that guy in the red zone that shocks people. And I think Johnny Wilson could be that guy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Red zone, just throw it up, Jalen. Just hide the ball and throw. Hide the ball and throw. Because there's not very many corners over 6'2", to be honest. Like how many of them that are over 6'2" that are good to start in the NFL? And this guy's 6'7". Woo! That's touchdown
He
machine
averaged
in the red
he
zone.
averaged 18 yards a catch the last
Yeah.
2 years of college. That's pretty damn good. I like him too. I think he's going to be a interesting pick. I just don't know how long it's going to take for a guy like that to develop. But yeah, I mean, I like it.
Yeah, and also I see Wilson as a red zone threat, right? I mean, from the 20 to the 20, like he probably not going to be on the field as much because you still got Goddard. You know what I mean? You still got your slot and your two outside, but in the red zone, it might be a package for him to go in there, right? You know, and just throw it up high and him moss somebody. So that's why I don't see him as a breakout because he's not going to have enough opportunities. You know, especially in the return game. I don't see him in the return game, but I do see Anai Smith in the return game and a slot with the gadget wide receiver. I just see him all over the field with a mismatch with whoever he's going up against. And the screen pass, please. The screen game is coming back, you know, so you're not going to have Devontae Smith blocking for Carter. You're not going to see that, all right? You're going to see regulars, some good, decent protectors for your screen game going on, you know, with Saquon, with Anais. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be our offense. Look, I'll be shocked if it's not top 3 in the league, period.
Number 1 in the league. I don't see how you can. What was it? ESPN, you know, that came out and said that we weren't even top 10. I don't know how you can say that. Like, that's the most BS I've ever heard in my life. You guys are supposed to be professionals. ESPN is supposed to be one of the most well-known brands for sports out there. And you're going to say the Philadelphia Eagles offense would not be number 10 when you got the best dual, you know, receivers in the NFL, period. I don't see another dual. I see some that you can compare a little bit, like the Tyreek Hill Waddle type stuff, but they're the best. I am a homer. I'm going to say they're the best. Okay.
Well, BG, you remember the lead up to the Jalen Carter draft where we wanted Bijan Robinson? We didn't think Carter was going to even be there. And we were like, we need a running back. You need that kind of running back. Well, guess what? The Eagles agreed with us because they went out and got Saquon Barkley. And he's going to give us exactly what we were talking about. And I think you're going to see Barkley in the past. I think Barkley is going to have a monster year. Like these people don't realize how bad the Giants have been for years. I mean, talking worst quarterback, one of the worst offensive lines, no receivers.
Yes.
This guy has had nothing around him.
What a Pro Bowler
coming into town. He is going to have he's going to be like Christian McCaffrey was for the 49ers. He'll make that big of an impact.
I think he can even be better. He's more of a pure running back. You know what I'm saying? He's more of a pure running back. And, you know, he pass blocks great, but he's more of a pure running back. I think his rushing yards, like he might get the 2K overall, but it's going to be more rushing with less attempts. You know? Like that's what happened with Booby. Remember Booby? We wanted Booby to get the ball more, but he still had 1,300 yards. Then we wanted to see Swift get the ball more, but he still had 1,100 yards.
I say week 1, 165 yards first.
Woo!
Yeah.
In Brazil, baby.
Yeah, in Brazil.
Welcome
to
the Philadelphia Eagles.
That's it.
What kind of stat line you think for Barkley? If he stays healthy all 17 games, what kind of stat line you think?
I think you're talking 12 to 1,400 yards on the ground, another 300 to 500 yards in the air. I think he's going to be close to 2,000 yards total yards. I don't think he'll get there because we've got so many mouths to feed. Yeah. But I think he'll be hovering, you know, on closer to 2,000 than not. Total. I mean,
he'll definitely go over 2,000 if we make a deep run in the playoffs, season. But look, I see over 1,400. If Miles Sanders could get over 1,300, and look, we took a lot of carries away from Miles Sanders because Jalen Hurts also ran for over 500 yards that season too. So you gotta, you know, think about it. You know, how often is Kellen Moore gonna, you know, kind of run Jalen Hurts compared to handing it off to Barkley and say, hey, I'm going to work. So I definitely see Barkley over 1,400, about 4,500, you know, receiving. But total touchdowns, at least 18 total touchdowns. Because I don't think we're going to do a lot of that brotherly shove anymore. Like, I mean, we'll do it once in a while, but when we have a back like that, you know, I don't think we're going to put our quarterback, and especially with Kelsey too. We got to keep, you know, that in back of our mind. How important was Kelsey, you know, to that brotherly shove, especially the way he gets down. Like, if you hear him talk after, yo, he is beat up, banged up, but he like. That play was so perfection, like so perfect that one key member might kind of ruin that a little bit. We might try it if we get stopped a couple times. You might see that get put on the back burner. And now, you know, with Barkley, I think he's going to get his touchdown. So close to
I don't know.
18.
I don't even think it's all just Kelsey on that play. I think
I'm
he
not
did.
saying it was all Kelsey, but the center is the
Cam
biggest
is
part.
bigger. I think Cam is bigger than Kelsey, and it's all because of Jalen Hurts.
not
Everybody
big.
got a big.
And Kelsey don't
Everybody
shove
gets off of the
nobody.
line.
Kelsey does not shove anybody. He goes down low. He takes out that person's knee. He goes down low. Like, he's not shoving nobody. Like, if
I'm
you look
saying
at
everybody
that,
has
play,
a big
snapping,
off of the
his
line,
neck is
but
down.
nobody got a quarterback squatting 600 pounds.
Okay.
That's what it comes down to.
I mean,
Nobody got quarterback squatting 600 pounds. That's why some people, they get it because they do got a good line. But to consistently get it is because you're quarterback. Yes, you got a lineman in front of you, but it's Jalen pushing that pound, you know. And now you're going to have Saquon pushing him from the back, you know, and he squats 600 pounds. So I think that play's going to be fine. But like you said, I do believe that they probably used to play less just because of Saquon. You don't pay a running back that much money and not let him get his easy touchdowns. You know, we didn't pay Booby that much. So, you know, we didn't play Swift that much. So it's all right for let your star quarterback, Jalen Hurts, get those touchdowns. But now you're paying Saquon Barkley $13 million. He going to want them touches. He going to get them touches. He going to score them touchdowns.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's go with White, man. What's your expectations for White on defense, man? We've been needing linebackers. We got White. How good do you think White is? Because I think there's no way in hell you can tell me a guy that was just 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, whatever, was the best linebacker in the game. And just because he had one bad year, obviously he's not the best linebacker in the game no more. He's just going to lose it. He's just some average linebacker that we got to hope and pray that can get back to where he's at. I think he even came out and said he had some mental things going on, trying to be the lawyer instead of the football player. He's ready to be the football player again. What do you think about White this year leading our linebacker group?
I believe White was the biggest steal in free agency. I think White. I agree with you. I think White rebounds. I think he needed a change of scenery. And I think White's a Pro Bowler this year. I think he's going to have a Pro Bowl year, and we're going to be crying by the end of the year saying they better sign him. They better sign him. I think White was a steal. That's what I think.
Yeah, yo, I wanted White. Who did I want, BG? Who did I want at linebacker in free agency, and who did you want? Who did we almost have a fist fight over, BG? You wanted Queen, and I wanted White. I wanted White from the.
I bet you 500 wouldn't care if we had Queen either, right?
Yeah,
I wanted them all. I wanted both. We needed two linebackers at least. Go get them both.
Yeah, facts. But look, I believe, in matter of fact, that is my breakout player on the defensive side is Devin White. Look, there's no way this dude, like a Super Bowl champion, and he basically got pushed out of Tampa Bay this past year. Got benched, embarrassed. I mean, this was an all-pro. I mean, yo, he is out to prove it on a one-year prove-it deal. And his mental health, he had a lot of personal stuff going on too, on the field, off the field. And he's ready right now. He's mentally, physically, like he's happy. And I believe that you're going to see this guy lead our young linebacker core to probably being one of the fastest, hungriest, hard-hitting linebacker core around the league.
I agree. 100% agree. I tell you, I think White may be one of the best stories and one of the most frustrating stories for us because I don't know how they're going to pay him. How are you going to pay him the money he's going to be due after the year he's
got $26 million.
That's what I worry about.
Well, that's why Bradbury and Slay got to be gone.
Yeah, that's why they got to go. That's right. That's why you want these young corners playing because you want to sign Devin White. Because, I think he's going to have a monster year. I think he, if you look at his whole situation, I was following it closely on my channel. He wanted a big deal. They wouldn't give it to him. He wanted a trade. They wouldn't give him a trade. It was all in his head, man.
Yeah.
He needed a change of scenery. I expect Devin White to be a huge impact for us.
Facts.
What about the rest of the linebacker core?
I
would say NFL only had one linebacker position, right?
We got one linebacker.
I believe Trotter Jr. starts by the end of the year. That's my prediction. I believe he's going to be a starter by the end of the year with Devin White. Bond, I don't know about. They're acting like he's starting. And then you got Nakobe Dean. I got to see him stay healthy. Man. I don't want to give up on him, but I think Trotter Jr. is going to be a player. So I think Devin White and Trotter Jr. by end of the year are their starting linebackers.
Yeah, I think
you believe in Bond?
Linebacker position is the hardest.
I have no opinion of Bond. I have to see. He wasn't a starter in New Orleans. Now he's going to be some great starter for us.
Fangio, that was the first linebacker he brought up. He didn't bring up White. He didn't bring up Trotter. He didn't bring up Dean. He didn't bring up nobody. He bring up Bond the first time he starts talking about linebackers. Everybody thought he was tripping. And guess what happens? Who's starting first day of OTA?
But I see that as a shot on Nakobe Dean. See, I look at that like he's saying something about Nakobe Dean right there. Not about anything else, because Nakobe Dean should be that starting. I mean, that's the way you would want it, Nakobe Dean to start. But he hasn't been healthy. So I don't know what Nakobe Dean is because he can't stay healthy. Bond, I don't know. We'll wait and see. I have nothing against him. I have nothing to say positive that, oh, yeah, I know he's the guy. I'm just wait and see. But I think Trotter Jr. is a player, and I think he will be a player on this team.
Yeah, the only thing with Bond to me, man, like he might be a Van Winkle, right? I mean, who the hell was a Van Winkle? I don't know, but he flourished in the Vic Fangio system, with the Dolphins, right? Every time I see him, like every time there's a play, he's making a tackle, right? So he might be one of those, those guys that you don't know about, but his grits, right? He's hungry. He's out to prove himself. He want to be a starter, and Vic believe in him. So. That's the only thing I know about Bond, whatever his name is. But I really believe that White and Trotter will be our starting linebackers. I do agree. Dean, I'm not losing faith in him. Maybe he could make a couple of tackles on special teams and get back in my good graces. But wait. But for real, right now, look, this is going to be his third season. And the first two seasons, he's been injured, right? And that's why he slipped down the draft board for a reason. Man was like, oh no, why he slipping? Oh my God, these scouts, they're trying to ruin his career. They're trying. Apparently that they were right so far. So maybe he could go to training camp and wow Vic Fangio, and it might be Dean and White. And we might have the two smallest linebackers like on the face of the earth. But as long as they can make tackles, hey, that's all that matters to me.
Hey, remember, that's why Dean was good in the first place, because he had guys like Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis in front of there. That big offensive line, keeping those offensive linemen, big defensive line, keeping those big offensive linemen off them. So, hey, shout out to David, the 199 Super Chat. He says, Gabe Hall, watch out for him. Yeah,
he could be
from Baylor, right?
Undrafted free agent. Yeah, he could be something.
And I think even like the dude, my guy from USC, Marlon Tulopu, you know what I'm saying? Like that guy, he had some good snaps last year. He played some good football for us last year. When he was healthy last year, he was making plays, and that's it. It'll be another year where you can see that guy develop and maybe even do something big. So look out for him too this year. Thanks for that nice 199 super chat. Hit that like, everybody. We got 65 in here. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be bringing that content all year long. Hey, I got another one for you, 500. What is your expectations for the coaching staff? Like, Nick Sirianni's been getting killed this offseason. You know what I'm saying? He's been getting murdered this offseason. Is it just, You know, Vic Fangio, old school vet, don't play. Slay says he's the type of guy, no matter how much money you got, you make, no matter what round you're drafted, if you don't play well, he's on bench you. You know, then
Yeah.
you got Kellen Moore bringing, you know, what Devontae Smith said was a new, freedom for them on the outside, letting them motion around, do what they want to do, basically, in this
Yeah.
offense. So, what are your
I
expectations for these coaches and
I
how
I
big of an
think the
impact?
coordinators.
500.
I think the
Real quick, 500. Before you answer that, so you could piggyback off of it. I mean, did you want Nick to go or stay?
I wanted him to go.
Yes,
I wanted
yes,
him to go.
500. I was saying that. I was like, why do you bring him back?
Okay, all right,
If
go
you
ahead.
fire everybody, you might as well fire him too.
It's just you have a historic collapse the way that they collapsed.
Mhm.
It's like, how do you recover from that? Like I don't know how you recover from that as a coach. But the one thing, and the one reason why I'm not pissed off about it anymore is because when you listen to the players, they all had his back. Like they
They love
all
him.
stepped up for him.
Yeah.
So if the players saw something in him or know something that we don't, and I think they felt like, he had too much on his plate and they needed good coaches. They had these young coaches that didn't know how to stop them from falling. And
Yeah.
now you got experienced coaches and he's doing more of a managerial type thing. It might be better. So I'm willing to give it a try, but at the time, no, I wanted him fired. You lose games, you're 10-1 and you end the season the way you did, you got to go. That was my thinking.
Because you're
But
the head coach. You got to stop the ship from sinking at some point. You know,
yeah,
that first game when they came out and told you, we know what you're running, and all your players are like trash on the football field. They can't be six, straight games of that. And you call yourself the head coach. They can't be six straight games of that.
yeah.
Get your ass fired.
But the
And
issue
Garrett's
is,
on
look,
TV,
hey,
and you're the head
look,
coach.
but Beach, okay, look, he tried to do something. Offense wasn't the issue. Yes, it started being more and more of a problem when we wasn't, doing no motion and, Christian McCaffrey was calling out our plays. I get it. But the problem was he tried to do something. He tried to change the defense. He fired, the defensive coordinator midway
That
through the
was the
season.
dumbest move ever.
A 10-1 start. That was his trump card right there to try to change stuff around because us fans was like, what is the defense doing? What is the defense? He actually listened to what we wanted to happen. We wanted the defense to tighten up, and he thought by, elevating, Matt Patricia to defense coordinator, that might have fixed the problem. He tried. So I can't put this all on Nick Sirianni. If he didn't do nothing at all, I get it. But the offense finished the season top 10 in the league. If you're top 10 offense, you can at least, make the playoffs. But defense was so bad. He's not a defensive coach. What else did y'all want him to do on the defensive side?
But you know what it is the players quit on him. Like, listen, you could watch these games from the Seattle game and every game after. I could tell you after the first quarter, it was over. They lost. That you could tell those players checked out like that. There was no chance in that Tampa game from the get-go. And so if you're a head coach, how do you have players quitting on you before the game even starts? That was my thing. And the Matt Patricia thing was just stupid. I blame Patricia. Like, why do you try to change a defense in the mid-season? It takes a whole year to implement a new style defense. You can't do that now. You should know better. So that was just stupid. And I blame Patricia for that. But those players they quit. Offensively, defensively, the only guy that looked like was playing was Devontae Smith. Everybody else looked like they checked out. And AJ Brown was so frustrated that he wouldn't talk to anybody anymore. So it was like, if you're the coach and they're quitting on you, isn't that your fault? But I don't think the players had his back and they were like, no, it's not his fault. So there's things that happened that we don't know about, that behind the scenes. There's stuff that crazy stuff, I'm sure, that went on that we don't know that would make everything make sense. But I don't believe we know everything that happened. I don't believe the truth is out there about what
Something else
happened.
had to happen.
Oh
But I
yeah,
think it was
that
that
was
too, like how we
there
both
was
say,
some
you
crazy
don't
thing.
fire your defensive coordinator when you're 10-1. I don't care how you feel about it, for real, because he did help us out some of those games too. He made adjustments at halftime on some of those games that we were like, oh wow, he's making adjustments at halftime that Jonathan Gannon wasn't making at halftime, right? We said that about this guy halfway through the season. I mean, you know, halfway through that first 10 games, that he's making those adjustments about, you know, that. Then you lose what, 2 games in a row, and now all of a sudden you're fired, you're demoted. Like, that's the dumbest thing ever. That was like the dumbest move ever by a head coach. Like, I understand we lost 3-4 games in a row, then you want to make a change. But after we lost 2 games, you know, look at the gauntlet we just went through. We beat what, 5 of the best teams in the NFL, like back to back to back to back to back to back. That gauntlet that everybody thought we were going to lose, that we were going to struggle in, that we weren't going to win half those games. We came to and beat every last one of those teams.
See, you can't even say that because the only reason why we won those games was because of offense. Yeah, look, Hurts had about 6 comeback wins, 2 against the goddamn Commanders, down double digits. How the hell you down to the Commanders double digits at home and on the road? So at some point, it was the defense. It wasn't the offense. We all were screaming changes for the defense. So yes, he tried to panic. He panicked and did the move that he thought he could have done and just switch the defense coordinator. But yes, hindsight 2020 now you should have left, Sean Desai alone and just ride it out and see, as the season go along, can we
He changed his offense? That's another reason why he should have got fired. He came out and defended Brian Johnson, talking about, don't get down on Brian. This is my offense. This is my offense. Every time his Knicks offense is trash. Every time.
That 49ers game was it. That 49ers game ended our season. Like you watch that team before the game, they looked like they didn't want to be there. At that point, it was over. Something was wrong with that team right there before the game even started. I was saying before the game started, I was like, why are guys like, why are they not sticking up for Bradbury out there? Like the 49ers are out there bullying them in pregame. They're coming in dressed in all black for our funeral, and you're letting them push you around, and you're not doing anything. I was saying that early in that game before it even got kicked off, and then they looked defeated. After that, that team was done. They were done.
Do you think it's fixed?
What?
Do you think everything from that whole little last end of the season debacle that went down, the whole slide that we went on, now that we have new coordinators, Nick's still in the building, got some new faces, got some faces in areas we really need. Do you think it's over? It's a real question.
Yeah, because I think more than that, I think whatever was really going behind the scenes got fixed. Because I think that the coordinators are just one part of it. I think there was a whole nother level that nobody knows about. And I think that probably was fixed.
And I also think, look, it did get fixed because Nick Sirianni, to me, we was in the Super Bowl last year. He came into that, but I don't know for sure, but he might have thought that he had more of a, a longer rope than he thought he had until, that last half of the season went down. So now he humbled himself. That's one thing that, Doug would not do, right? The last season with Doug was horrible, right? And they try to say, hey, can you kind of do something, fix something, change the coordinator? He said, no, I'm a Super Bowl winning head coach. I'm cocky like that. He said, well, thank you for your service. Here's the door. So I think that Nick Sirianni, because this was his dream to be an NFL head coach. He waited a long time, you know what I mean? And he got his job. And I don't mind him saying, okay, all right, I need to grow as a coach. I know my flaws. It's my fault. you demoted me, or at least you didn't fire me, but I still have an opportunity to go out here and lead this good team, manage this team to a Super Bowl, and still probably get an extension. Who knows? But I think he was humbled after this past season. And I do think just bringing on those two, defense coordinator, offense coordinator with experience kind of helped them out a little bit too. And I think that the players are pissed off all off season. Everybody was like, oh my God, the way this ended. Embarrassing. AJ Brown deactivated his IG, he took the Eagles off. All these rumors and stuff. These guys got paid. They motivated. Dickerson got paid. Mariota, AJ, Smitty. I mean, Barkley is here to win a ring. He didn't come here to be with the Giants. He came here to win a ring with the Philadelphia Eagles. So I think overall, the culture of the Philadelphia Eagles, the swag is back. I mean, just look at the swagger. With Chauncey coming back, these guys are working to tail off this offseason to go out this upcoming season with a mission, on their mind to win it all. That's it. No coach is going to stop them. Nothing's going to stop them. They are pissed off the way the season ended. At the end of the day, there are prideful players. There are men, and they got embarrassed. Jalen Hurts is being talked about as one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. I mean, it's so much stuff going on. Kelsey retired. Fletcher Cox retired because the Eagles season ends so bad. They didn't want to be part of this mess no more. So much crap is going on. I feel like they're going to tune out all the noise and go out and prove everybody wrong. We are always better being the underdogs, and I feel like that's where we at going into this, season.
500. Do you think this could be like an Andy Reid effect? Remember when we had Andy, 5 straight NFC championships, right? Couldn't get it over with the Philadelphia Eagles. He gives up the play calling.
Right.
He gave it to Bieniemy and those guys over there. They win championships. I think it was up to last year or the year before when he actually took over the play calling again. Mm-hmm. But he had that stint of time where he actually got to learn how to be a head coach. You know what I'm saying? Like where he was our offensive coordinator, and some of those NFC championships, was bad play calls for Andy Reid. You know what I'm saying? Like he did have some bad play calls at the end of that football game. I think people forget about that. But this could be the same effect for Nick Sirianni, where this could be catapult him and catapult this team to the point where, okay, now we got a legitimate offense coordinator, a legitimate defense coordinator. He can just go in there and be the head coach, and we can win a Super Bowl from this.
Yeah, I actually do. I actually think so. Some people don't like Kellen Moore. I think Kellen Moore got blamed for a lot of Dak Prescott's choking in Dallas. So it's good. Nothing's going to be better than watching Kellen Moore do something with the Eagles that he couldn't do at Dallas. I think that's going to be hilarious. But I think that Sirianni, I think he's better suited for the position and what they got him in now. And having experienced coordinators on both sides of the ball is important. So, yeah, I definitely think so.
A couple more before we get out of here, guys. Training camp, Eagles. Want to say the 23rd for the rookies and the vets. What do you want out of this training camp? Do you think that we will lock down all positions? Is there any players out there you think Howie should go trade for or bring into this football team, during the training camp era? Do you think we should ride with this team going into the season?
I think you go into camp and you kind of just see how it's going, right? I think you need to see how it's going, see how some guys are doing, but then you need to make a couple moves. I think you got to trade at least 2 defensive backs. So I think Bradbury and somebody else got to go. I think if let's say Anaya Smith ain't living up and he's not where you need him to be, I would go add another wide receiver. I also think you could use another running back. I don't like the running back depth behind Barkley. So I would not mind going out and getting like a Dalvin Cook or somebody to come in and watch if Miles Sanders ends up getting cut. But I would bring in a back behind Barkley.
That would be awesome. If Miles got cut, then you bring him back, and then he's back to being Saquon's backup like he was in Penn State.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
The Will Shipley kid, I just don't know enough about to tell you.
I seen it. I watched some of his tape, man. They got a beast. Like he don't have the long end. Like if he broke one from like the 10-yard line, he's not gonna go 90 yards. He probably get caught before then. But
Right.
Anywhere in that 50, 60 range, he'll take one to the house, man. He's explosive. He can throw the football, he can catch the football.
I need to see
backfield,
more, but I'm not
ball.
a game. I'm not a Gainwell fan.
One running back. I did say that Shipley will overtake Gainwell for RB2. And another guy, that Milton guy. I think Milton is at third back. I think the guy from Georgia, Milton. That guy's a beast, dude. He's a big guy. Watch this. He's running over people. He's juking people. He reminds me of a little of a Garrett Blunt type guy. Like he's not as big as Garrett, but he's a big running back, man. I think a guy like Milton, when you got those other two guys, it's just time for us to revamp it. I think we revamped it with Saquon, Milton, and with the boy Shipley.
I mean, look, I think our running back position, it's fine because anybody you put behind this offensive line, yes, I know we lost Kelsey, but I think behind this offensive line, you probably could plug in and play anybody, right? And I think that Shipley kind of resembled Barkley, but not the physical, but the way he could run between the tackles, catch out the backfield, leap over people. I mean, he's a baller, from Clemson. So I think we will be okay at the running back position, but I do think on the defensive line, right? The best years we had was when we had rotations going along, even during the Super Bowl year, right? I mean, we had a whole NASCAR package, fresh bodies all over the defensive line. Yeah. So I think that we need a little bit more depth at the defensive tackle position, more experienced depth, not no young rookies, but experienced depth. Like, is Campbell signed yet? Man, I think he's gone, right? He's gone.
I think
he's gone. So Sue is still out there somewhere. But I just think that we need just a little bit more depth, just to have a fresh rotation. Because 18 games is a long, it's a long season, especially throughout the week. So I feel like that's that right there, and linebacker, possibly linebacker, right? If Crowder, if Dean, if Bond, but we got one guy in white, and everybody else is just question mark. I mean, and we're hoping that Dean could bounce back to where he was a few years ago. But everybody else is literally a question mark. So I think the linebacker position you might need to add, and a defensive tackle. But everything else to me is
I think safety too. Safety
and possibly safety.
How do you feel about that?
Justin Simmons, you out there? Let's go.
You got it right here. Sidney Brown said he's gonna be ready, baby. He said he's gonna be ready.
That's still a question mark.
He's gonna be ready by week 1. He's 100% moving forward. He's moving sideways.
I guarantee you, unless your name's Adrian Peterson, you are not coming back from that injury after 1 year.
That's week 17, right? Week 17,
it's a 2-year injury. He will not be. It will take him a year to be right. Here's the thing: Cooper DeJean should play safety. He is a safety. He could play safety slot outside. Yeah. You have to prepare him to play all the positions. He needs to be like a Swiss Army knife that you move all around depending upon who you're playing. So if you give him reps at safety, I'm okay with the safety. But if you don't give him reps at safety and you keep him in a slot, then you got to go out and get another safety, because to me, Reed Blankenship is just the guy. I know people hate to hear that. But to me, he's just a guy. He's a good player. He's okay, but
he can be replaced.
But I could add Justin Simmons and have Simmons and CJ Gardner-Johnson. All of a sudden, my safeties are awesome. So
what about Jackson from the Bears?
Yeah, Eddie Jackson you could bring in too. I mean, and you got the Quandre Diggs from Seattle. He's also out there. There's safeties that are out there that could come in and play. But I think that Cooper DeJean should be taking reps at safety, because you want to get him on the field. Like the way I see the future is I see Ringo and Mitchell on the outside. And then I see DeJean as 1 week he's got to play safety. 1 week he's got to play in the slot. 1 week he's covering a tight end. Like he needs to be a Swiss Army knife. That's how they need to use him. But if you're not going to play him at safety, which they haven't yet in OTAs, then go out and get Justin Simmons and let's get this secondary locked down.
Yo, if we get Justin Simmons, I'm telling you, it's like besides our linebackers it's going to be hard to even score on this defense with Chauncey Gardner back. But before we leave a 500, I really want to know your starting 11 on defense if you had it your way, including if you want to bring in, guys to start over our current guys. What would be your semi?
If I could do it if I could do it my way, okay.
Yeah. Who's your starting defense?
First of all, I'm going 4-3 defense. I'm a 4-3 kind of guy.
Okay.
So I would have my starters would be Brandon Graham on the line. Be Brandon Graham, Carter, Davis, and Sweat would be my four. My three linebackers would be I would start out with Devin White, Bond, and Trotter Jr.
Ooh.
And then my secondary would be Slay and Quinyon Mitchell outside.
Ooh.
I'd put Isaiah Rodgers in the slot, and my safeties would be C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Cooper DeJean. That's how I would do it. So I would do it a little differently than the Eagles are going to do it, but that's what I would do.
Yeah, look, I mean, that is. Wait, you'll start BG instead of what?
I put Brandon. If I would have a 4-3 base, so I would have Brandon Graham as my defensive end, and then next to him I'd have Carter, Davis, and Sweat. Those would be my four guys, and then my three linebackers would be. Well, I guess you got to figure a way to get Nolan Smith in, but see, I see Nolan Smith in a 4-3 more as like an edge rusher, like a defensive end.
Yeah.
So I would have Trotter, Bond, and Devin White would be my linebackers.
Okay. A BG.
Okay.
BG.
If I'm making the Eagles defense, this is what's gonna be. It's gonna be Huff, Sweat at the ends. It's gonna be Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis. It's going to be White, Dean, and Trotter. It's going to be Big Play Slay, James Bradbury with Isaiah Rodgers in the slot with CJ GJ and
that's 11.
And I'm going to give Reed to start off this jump for sure.
Okay. All right.
Hey, I know we have Huff and I know we have Nolan Smith. But it comes back to I got to go with what I know. I know what Brandon Graham is. I don't know what Bryce Huff is. I don't know what Nolan Smith is yet. I like the 4-3. I also like adding that fifth guy. So sometimes you go down to a 5-2. I like 4-3, 5-2. You do a 5-2, you could bring in a Huff off the edge. So you can do that as well. But I got to see Nolan Smith. I got to see Huff.
We ran a lot of that last year.
I like 5-2. I like it. So you could run that, but I got to see Huff actually go out there. I got to see Nolan Smith. They got to show me something. I haven't seen anything from those guys yet. I'm not saying they're going to be bad. I just haven't seen it. So let's see what they do.
JC, give us your starting lineup.
All right, so this is the Super Bowl starting lineup right here. Starting for the Philadelphia Eagles on the defensive side, you have Josh Sweat, a proven vet, and you have Huff, another proven vet. Yes, he had a double-digit sack one season. I understand. It's okay. New environment, new system. That's all right. And then you have Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis as my linebackers. I have White. I have Trotter, and I have Kobe Dean. This is his last chance, folks. If Kobe Dean if he even spring his ankle, I'm cutting him on the spot. He's not getting on the plane. I'm saying goodbye and go somewhere else. But this is my three linebackers. As far as the DBs go, Big Play Slay on one side and Quinyon Mitchell. And guess who is my slot? Isaiah Rodgers is my slot, folks. And now my safeties is Cooper DeJean and Chauncey Gardner.
I love it.
There's a mix of both of them. I like it. It's cool. It's cool. We're gonna see what happens this year.
Bradbury's gonna be doing this. Bradbury's doing this. Yeah.
I'm telling you, I think everybody's tripping. I think the old school guys will keep him there in the beginning of the season. I think Howie's gonna build up that stop before we get rid of him. Before we get out of here, give us your way too early record prediction for these Philadelphia Eagles. I made a poll right now. Let me see what the poll even saying right now. What will be the Eagles' record prediction at the end of the season? Here, let's see what we got going on. 6 to 8 wins, 8 to 10 wins, 10 to 12, 12 or more. Right now, everybody got 69% leading the way with 12 or more wins.
Yeah,
followed by
I think 12 to 14 wins. I think they win about 12 to 14 games. So somewhere in that range, I see them. I think I think they got a really tough game to open up. I think that Green Bay game is a tough game. I think the best 4 teams in the conference are the Eagles, Niners, Detroit, and Green Bay. So I think that's a really tough game. But you go 1-0 there, I think you can win 14 games easy.
Okay,
so I mean 12-14.
I mean, I had to throw the Cowboys in there. I mean, because they are our divisional opponent, of course. You know what I mean? But still, I think it's definitely
going to be trash. It's going to be third division this year.
I think they're third too. I think they're going to stink.
Me too.
What? No way.
Yeah,
no.
I think they've got no running game. They've got no running game.
Zeke the freak is back. Zeke the freak.
Zeke the who?
Top and everything.
Listen, me and
Zeke got freaky in a while, my guy.
Zeke hangs out with me at the buffet. He ain't doing nothing. All right, forget it. Zeke's
Zeke the crop top, the freak is back. Okay,
they got no running game whatsoever, and there's going to be one dimensional on offense. CeeDee Lamb might hold out, so what's he going to do? They stink. I think Dallas wins 9 games, maybe at best.
Damn.
That's what I said. I said Dallas wins 9, Washington wins 10.
Wow.
And puts Dallas third in the division. The Eagles win. I got them at 14-3 as my opening day starter lineup, but I really think they can win every game, like 17-0 to prove it otherwise.
Of course,
it's always what I say. 17-0, like it could be the Dolphins again, baby. Hey, who's gonna stop this offense,
man? And that's why we started.
Who's gonna stop the offense? Feel the truth. Like we don't got enough defenders or nobody's defense to stop this offense. If Kellen Moore's as good as he say he's going to be, and he's bringing all this new stuff that's going to help our offense that much, Jalen that much, the run game and the pass game, how you stop him? Because it's not a defense to have that many star players on our defense to stop all these stars. There's not. And our defense on the other side, they're looking really good right now. If we just need 2 or 3 of these guys that we hope to have big roles to actually fulfill the position of have no big roles, and who's going to stop us? Who's going to stop us?
Dak BIRDGANG.
Our defense is going to stop us, just like they did last year, right? We was top 3.
You don't think our defense is going to be good? Is that what you said?
Yeah, but you asked me a question, right? Hypothetically, who's going to stop us? Our defense, right? The unknown, right? I mean, we are expecting Vic Fangio, the chef himself, not the sire, I'm not Jonathan Gannon, but the chef himself. He invented this type of defense. We are expecting him to make these guys better, right? New linebackers, maybe some new corners, new safeties, some unknowns, on the defensive front, like 500 said, with Huff and who knows who else. So that is the problem. The problem is not our offense. It wasn't last year. It's not going to be this year. What can stop us is ourselves. If defense can get their act together before we start getting to the back end of our season. Yes, in the beginning, yes, there are going to be mistakes being made, and I think our offense could carry us. But if it keeps doing it, just like this past season, teams get better game after game as the season go along, and that's why we lost to the Cardinals. Because we can't stop nobody. We lost to the Giants because teams start saying, hey, look, we ain't got nothing to prove. Let's ruin their season. Or, hey, we are in the playoff hunt. Let's give them our best punch. So it's going to be on the defensive side. How quickly can we get up to, the same page? Because continuity is, oh, my God, is 100% the key to win a football game on defense. You have to be on the same page. But I have our record at least over 12. On a down year, we went 11-6 on a down year. So, and I'm pretty sure we're not going to lose 5 in a row and all this stuff going to happen. Historical collapse is not going to happen. So I have us over 12, maybe 13 wins, but definitely over 12.
Like you said, nephew, 17-0 until proven otherwise, baby. And I
guess
know
he
it's the
will be
NFL, baby,
hustling.
and it's hard to win games, but what year was that the Dolphins? They went undefeated. They didn't have a roster like this, okay?
Oh
They
my
didn't have a
God.
roster like this that we're
Yeah,
going
there was
to.
only 8 teams in the league either. All right, next. Hey,
What
let's
do you
move
put
on.
us? Evan, do you think we have the best offense in the league?
Best offense? I think top 3. I think it's got to be in top 3. I'm trying to think. Who else?
Who would
Nobody.
you put in front of us?
On
Dolphins, maybe?
paper, at least. On paper, I think we're the best on paper because I don't see anybody with a Barkley, with AJ, with Smitty, with Goddard. All
No,
of them.
on paper we're
five.
we're up there. I mean, who's I'm not saying they're better than us, but who's an interesting offense is the Texans with
Yeah.
Stroud and then with
Oh,
Stephon Diggs, Nico
Mm.
Collins. They got Mixon. I mean, they got some weapons. So they're an interesting team. I think the Dolphins are an interesting team.
Dolphins.
Although I
OBJ.
like Hurts better. I like the Eagles running game better. Yeah, no, I mean I think Buffalo took a couple steps back.
Yeah.
The Chiefs to me, they don't have the pop offensively, but they'll win in the playoffs because of Mahomes. So yeah, I mean
the Chief offense got better though. The Chief offense got better with that draft pick.
Yeah, they did. They did. Yeah.
They had in the offseason, like they got better on at least on offense.
They got to prove it too.
I look at Dallas. Dallas is one-dimensional. Dallas is one-dimensional. They got one receiver. He's holding out. They got no running game. Somebody said in there that they didn't have a running game last year. You're right, they didn't, but they had a threat of a run game last year. Teams respected Pollard just enough. They're not going to respect a big fat Zeke who hasn't done anything in 4 years. So, I mean, on paper, I think it's safe to say the Eagles should be number 1. I think the Texas team though is interesting. Stroud is an interesting quarterback, man.
You see, I think the only way I give the Eagles, the point over the Texans is the offensive line. Like I really think the offensive line is better than the Texans, but overall they're like almost identical. Like I mean, they have some good receivers, a good running back, a mobile quarterback. Is how the offensive line is going to hold up. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
I will say they did become the best team in Texas.
Detroit's got a good team.
Yeah,
they got a good offensive line. Jamar Gibbs going in his second year. They got some receivers, and even Green Bay got Josh Jacobs. They had some receivers that came on last year too. So there's some. But
good with Green Bay though, Miami. You see, with Green Bay, midway through the season, your people was calling for Jordan Love head on the stick. Like you're like, oh my God, they suck. Get him out of there. But then they got better as the season
I know.
went along. He looked like or is it real?
I don't know. He looked like Aaron He looked like Aaron Rodgers to me at the end of the year last year. I mean, it was like he looks like Aaron Rodgers. The way he was throwing the ball, holy crap. And the Niners. I mean, the Niners got a good offense too. You can't take it away.
Hey, Ayuk might be out of there though.
Well, that's the whole thing. If they have Ayuk and then they have Debo and Christian McCaffrey and they have a good offensive line, they're pretty good too. So, but I mean, I think on paper,
we're gonna miss a couple of games. If Trent don't play, they don't win.
That's true. That's true.
That's like us with Lane though. Lane don't play.
I'm still not sold on Purdy. Either.
No, I'm not either.
I'm not sold on Purdy either. One of my best friends, he's a Niner fan. He claims Purdy is better than Jalen Hurts. I keep slapping him. So, I don't know what's going on there. But hey, salute to you, GOAT, for stopping by The Truth, baby, episode 30. Man, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that follow, everybody from whatever platform you're on. Man, 500, give us your last word before you get out of here tonight. And we're gonna wrap the show up.
The last words of wisdom.
Dallas still stinks.
Yes.
Yes. It's over. That's what we need to hear.
I love it. Well, hey, salute to all you guys. JC, last words.
Hey, go Birds, baby. And let's get it. And I can't wait for this season. Like
I know.
Like the last time I was this excited was 2 years ago. and we went to the
Yeah.
Super Bowl. So, like, even last year, coming in, I knew something was going to go wrong. Yes, it was nice and beautiful, 1-0, 2-0, but they were sloppy, lucky wins. I don't care what everybody said. Hey, we were squeaking by. But this year, I feel like that, man, with the chip on our shoulder, the way the season ended, Nick is fighting for his job. A lot of players on 1 year prove it there. Big play Slay. No, might be it for the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, yeah, we had some players on 1 week. Devin White, he's fighting for a big contract. Josh Sweat, he stayed for 1 more year to fight for a big contract. So we have a lot of, people that are fighting for their jobs with contracts, underdog mentality. I think that we are back, and I can't wait for the competition in training camp. Whew, that's all I gotta say, man. I can't wait.
My last words is everybody's talking about this player, that player, this player. It doesn't matter about those players. It matters about the number one guy, number one himself, Jalen freaking Hurts. You don't bring the turnovers into this year. We going to the Super Bowl, my guy. That was just it. That's just it. Our team is good enough that if you don't turn over the football, baby, as much as you did last year, you could be hosting up the Lombardi at the end of the season. And I think that's what's going to happen this year with the Eagles this year. So I really have faith that Jalen Hurts taking that next step. You see his leadership out there with the young players right now. He's not out there with Smitty and Saquon. You did see him a little bit with Saquon. But, Smitty, Saquon, AJ, he got, Shipley. He got Johnny Wilson. He got Nia Smith. He got the young guys, getting them ready for the future and finding some good chemistry with those guys because they already got chemistry with the other guys. So I think this is the year Jalen Hurts throws over 4,000 yards. This is the year Jalen Hurts wins his MVP, and this is the year the Eagles win the Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts, baby. So remember that. Training camp's a couple weeks away. Fly, Eagles, fly, and we out. Peace.
Go Birds. What's going on, everybody, man? And welcome to the very, 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 very